Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Cutting this hair off soon, I can't take it anymore. Kitchen's just about done. I have just the teeniest bit left to do. You'll probably see that video finishing up the kitchen before you see this one. But I'm moving on to another part of my house, my bedroom. I started my bedroom. I didn't even come close to finishing. I have 50,000 unfinished projects in there. And the first thing I'm gonna tackle is something easy. I am going to make some new nightstands for our bedroom. I want matching nightstands. Right now we have they're antique, like washstands. And although I love antiques, I want modern stuff too. I want a mixture of both old and new. We have a lot of great like family antique pieces and stuff like that, but I'd like to incorporate things with like more modern color, feeling, that sort of thing. So that's what this one's going to be about. As you know, I am always on a budget, so I do not spend a lot, which is why I am going to be putting together the Rast. It's no bigger than like a nightstand, but it's a little dresser. I bought 2 of them. They were $57 a piece at IKEA, and essentially when you put them together, it's just a bunch of unfinished wood. So we are going to put this together and we are going to paint it, chalk paint, and give it a more modern color, more modern feeling. I'm hoping to put some new, some legs on it, some new handles, and I'm really excited. I need something like this in my life right now. I need to keep going forward, and I feel like my bedroom, no matter where we live, my bedroom is always the last room to be done. And by the time we do anything to it, it's like, okay, it's time to move. Not happening this time. I am getting this room done. I have a few really good pieces in there, but I need to keep going forward, and I need to rip out that nasty carpet in there. I don't know what I'm going to do for flooring, but that's another story. I am going to put together one of these dressers, and I will show you, let me put you down, that if you've ever shopped at IKEA, there's no words, only pictures. And sometimes it's not a big deal. Sometimes it's really easy to put together. And then there are other times where I would love for this to be shoved where the sun don't shine. So I picked this not only because it was the right size. It was unfinished wood. I could paint it and treat it with however treatment I wanted and have something a little more uniform in my bedroom, which has always been kind of like a hodgepodge of whatever's left over. So, yeah, I am going to get started on putting this together, and I will reconvene with you in a little bit. I got the inspiration to do this from a Good Housekeeping article I found online recently. The rest of it was really easy for the most part to put together. Luckily, even though there's no word directions on how to put everything together, the pictures were more than sufficient in this case, and it was very easy for me to put together. All right, guys, there she is. Done, at least done for now. It was not hard to put together. I was actually surprised. 20-30 minutes. My next step is going to be, I need to look online, find some hardware, find some legs. I'm going to paint it this color. This is Dixie Belle paint, and the name of this color is Rusty Nail. And look at that pretty rusty red orange. I think that's gonna look good. So they're both gonna be the same color. And Dixie Belle is my favorite chalk paint that I have used. I've used quite a few brands. This is my favorite, and I love the amount of colors and products they have within their line. They even have different types of top coats and stuff. So yeah, so the first part's done. Now on to the next steps. Welcome back. It's another day. I have primed each piece of the dressers, and now it's time to start working on the actual paint. Again, I got this paint from Dixie Belle, well, a local retailer, Dixie Belle paint, and the color is Rusty Nail. So it's gonna be a pretty rusty red color. So I'm just gonna get started on it. Unfortunately, I lost the video content for filling the holes where the pre-drilled holes were for the knobs that the dresser came with, and the priming. So I patched the holes in the front with just a little bit of spackle and a spatula, sanded it down. And for primer, I used a water-based, I believe it was Kills primer, and I did 2 coats because I really wanted to make sure that the knots in the wood got covered really, really well. Did a light sanding in between both coats, and now it's prepped and ready for the regular paint. All right, I just came back from the store, pick up more paint. I'm not 100% happy with the color that I've painted so far. It looks a little bit warmer, I feel like, in the video camera than it really is. It's supposed to be rusty nail, which to me is like a rusty, like orangey. This definitely has more of a red hue to it. It doesn't look quite as red as my red shirt right now, but if it was standing alone, it looks pretty red. Not quite what I wanted. So I went back to the drawing board. I did get more of the, what's it called, rusty nail. I got one of the big ones. I got this 4-ounce size of a yellow. It's called Colonel Mustard. I am just going to make my own custom color. I went back and looked to see if I could find a more like burnt orange color, and I couldn't. So I'm just going to make my own. I also picked up this stuff, which I have never used before, gator hide. And I'm going to use this as a top coat on the tops of both of the nightstands. This tends to be a little bit more water resistant or repellent. So we're going to try this. I'm going to put probably a few coats of this gator hide as a final top coat. I'm hoping that I can get this done in 1 coat. I have 2 full coats of the red or the rusty nail on every piece of furniture, and it is covered very well. I'm thinking that I can get the rest done in just 1 coat. So I'm going to start mixing and see what color I come up with. Wish me luck. All right, I saved my empty container of paint and used that as my mixing bowl. Kind of eyeballing, but putting about half of the container of rusty nail in and adding about half of the yellow in and mixing it really, really good. Obviously, it kind of looked like ketchup and mustard, but I had to mix it for a very long time to get the colors to incorporate. And the finished piece was not far off from the original color, but was more of a terracotta. It was more of a terracotta color when it was done, which I liked a lot better than the red. And again, it's not showing up on camera quite so much. Once the furniture was done and sitting there, it did look very red on its own, and I really didn't want red furniture. So here are the 2 colors. My newly mixed color on the right, the original on the left. Well, it's got a little bit of, I sanded it a little bit before I put the next coat on. I'm liking this color much better. It's taking the edge off of the red a little bit, warming stuff up. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep it this way. So far, so good. I painted just about everything. I've got this 1 drawer to do in the body of one of the dressers, and I will be done this portion. I gave every piece of the furniture 1 coat of the muted, like the new color I came up with. And I like it a lot better. It's not quite like burnt orange, kind of like a clay color. It's still better than the red. I really like it. So I'm going to stick with it. I know I talked about the gator hide. That's going to be my next step up. I'm only going to do it on the tops. The rest of the body of the furniture is going to get a different kind of finish. It's just a standard satin finish clear coat that they have. But this gator hide, I looked up a bunch of different ways how to use this. See it? There it is. It's very liquidy. I watched 15 different videos and came up with 15 completely different ways of how to do it. But the one that I liked the most said to use these pads, these buffing pads. They're like lint-free, straight out of the package. There's a sponge in there, but it's, I think, surrounded by microfiber. I'm going to go set this up in the living room. I'll show you the technique that I'm going to use on this. It says to stir it, not shake it. I'm assuming shaking it probably brings in bubbles. So I'm going to stir it really well. All right. Stir that. Now I'm going to pour a little bit in this plate. And I really don't need hardly any because I'm only doing this top and the top to the other one. So it shouldn't take anything. Have paper towel ready because this stuff is very liquidy, so it's gonna be messy. So here's my little sponge. She said to use it dry. You're gonna tap a little bit on there. Oh my God, it sets up fast, you guys. Center, out, center, out, and then one long streak across. Here's my issue. Already, it's linty, so that kind of bothers me. Hopefully I can get rid of the lint. Put some there, take the excess off. Middle out, and then a long one there. I'm gonna get these corners real quick because these are gonna be kind of like a bugger to get in those cracks and crevices. I suppose like anything else, like the more you do it, the better you become at doing it. It takes 2 hours to dry, so I'll give it a light sand in between coats, and in the meantime I'll wash this, which she says is cleans up with soap and warm water. I'll let this dry, and maybe that will get rid of some of the excess lint. In the meantime, I'm gonna go finish the other one that's over here and get this first coat of clear on there. Roger was kind enough to start attaching the handles that I purchased from Amazon, which will be, the link to those handles will be in the description below. So as you can see, oh, by the way, don't judge all my dirty floors right now. Excuse me, sis. As you can see, this dresser is just about done, but I have these really cool legs. Let me grab some. These are the legs that I want to put on the dresser. But if we go under here, there's no floor. So what we've had to do is Roger is putting in some wood across the base, and that will give a place for these legs to mount to. So as you can see, he added some 1x4s going across the bottom, and that will be enough space for me to mount the legs. So we are kind of in the final stages of this project. I can't wait to see it done. All right, guys, that's the finished product. I am so happy with how this came out. I love the color. The color is more of like a terracotta color, and I'm really loving that. I really want to warm things up in my house. Couple things I wish I would have done differently. Number one, I wish I would have painted each individual piece of wood prior to putting the whole thing together. I just think it would have given it a much cleaner look and I guess more professional. I wish that I would have rolled the paint with a foam roller. It would have gotten rid of brush strokes. I don't particularly mind the way that it looks because you still see the grain of the wood and stuff like that, but it would have been, I think, a little bit more flawless of a finish with a sponge roller. And I mean, when you're using chalk paint, there's a million different ways to do it, and none of them are wrong. It just depends on what you have available, what you like. So I would have changed that. I feel like there was something else. Oh, these drawers, the individual drawers, they do not stay together very well. There are these little bolts that are screwed into the door here and poke in through here, and then these little guys have an opening chamber, and you stick the head of the screw into that opening chamber and then twist to shut. I hate that design. If it moves or jiggles a lot, these have a tendency to come loose and the whole drawer front comes apart. I wish as I was putting it together, I have some Loctite, which is a glue. I wish I would have used the Loctite on everything. When it comes to those drawers, I have a feeling that over time with excessive use, they could fall apart. I still have some Loctite. I guess if they fall apart, I can take care of that. But overall, I'm super happy with how it came out. It's just a light satin finish, except for the top, which is a little bit shinier. It's that, it's hard to see. It's that gator hide. I did 3 coat, very lightly sanding with a 220 grit sandpaper in between each coat. And it goes on very smooth, very thin, but it's supposed to be for pieces of furniture that are going to have heavier use. So it being a nightstand, it's drinks, it's aspirin, it's, whatever your books and stuff, whatever you put on your nightstand. So, but yeah, I'm super happy. I am going to be doing more projects around the house. If you want to see more of those videos, stick around. I do have a DIY playlist. This will be included in it, but I do have a few other DIY videos I've already uploaded that are already on there as well. And I thank you for joining me. If you're interested in seeing more, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you like the video, go ahead and like it. And other than that, I guess I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Have a good day.